It's the Center Fantasy Football Podcast.
Welcome to the party, pal! Yes! Yes! Yes, this is my favorite part of the game.
Analyzing all of the league matchups week to week.
You can't win!
Get him a body bag! Finish him!
It is a bit above average.
I said this sucks, and basically so do you.
And discussing the boom, bust, and hidden gem players throughout the league.
We ain't found shit!
What the hell is Brett Favre doing here?
I'm in town to play the Dolphins, you dumbass.
Dan Marino should die of gonorrhea and rot in hell. Laces out.
Touchdown!
And here's your host,
Allow myself to introduce myself.
David Harbatkin. Hello and welcome to the Center Fantasy Football Podcast for Week 2 of Season 8. I'm your host, David Harbatkin, joined by the ever-so-cautious and protective coach of the Hackettstown Hagglers.
I'm a man of the people. What can I say?
Then joining us in our lower right, or lower left, I guess, whatever, is the coach of the victorious Zamunda Lions, Mr. Nick Zamiri.
Fuck you.
And then our ever so elegant commissioner
puts the L in elegant.
Yeah. Mr. Manny Friedman. Here,
Welcome, guys.
Should I musk up? There you go. Can't even get over these stupid things. All right. So it was an interesting week 1. Yeah, there were some really horrid games, I have to say. I mean, there were some really good teams, but there were some really horrid ones. I mean, but even the horrid ones were close. I feel like everybody was kind of matched up relatively close to who they were playing.
Easy for you to say.
What? I mean, whatever. We could go into the specific games of last week. Let's actually do that. So where would you gentlemen like to start? Let's see.
Let's see if we can even pull this stuff up.
No, we could pull it up. I feel like we can. All right. So
There we go. Fancy technology.
Yeah, look. I mean, look at how advanced. First of all, it used to just be. We didn't even have the video thing before. We used to just have the audio, but now I should in fact charge everybody the premium Patreon membership fee to get this kind of access here, where you can actually see stuff on the screen as you watch it on your toilets on Thursday mornings. Okay, so which game do we want to go? Well, this is last week's games.
Yeah, let's back it up to week 1.
Yeah, back it up to week 1.
Ooh, is that 88? Oh my gosh! So actually, go to week 2 again.
We could begin in like the.
Fast forward to week 2.
In fact, never show this again.
Never show this slide again.
Burn this tape. You both are up first. If you guys want to go through like your classic, what looks like an NFC East matchup.
Oh my God! Offensively challenged 1603ers top the Hackettstown Haggler 108.96 to 88.16. I guess we're there. We might as well start there. Yeah, this is brutal. I mean, this was an absolutely brutal game from go. I mean, it started out on Thursday night with Randall Cobb. First of all, that 4.3 for Randall Cobb was a gift. It was a gift. It was like almost beyond garbage time where he got it. He almost got that 4.3 in the interview, in the post-game interview. He had nothing all game. And then he finally got that. So I'm feeling pretty darn confident after that, especially considering if we go down a little bit further to a bench blunder right here. So I'm feeling good. And then Sunday rolls around and I'm no longer feeling good at all. Yeah, I mean, like all my guys went in the morning. So Chark gets 11.5. Marvin Jones gets 9.5. McCaffrey does his 28, so that's good. Then you add some Aaron Jones with 17.6, but Dalvin Cook, frankly, outplayed him in the same game where that team got blown out. I mean, the only bright side for the Hagglers after this game is this Dalvin Cook with 21.80 points. Gronk shits the bed with 3.1. Boston Scott, who, frankly, I put him in because Eugene, the night before, said, you picked up Boston Scott, which I had done 2 days before. He's like, you really are a vulture. So... yeah, I put him in, and that kind of cost me, but it only cost me like a point because I was going to put in A.J. Brown, who sucked also. Suck up, speaking of suck, only got 5 points after missing a field goal and 2 from the Chicago defense. But if you look across, the board, and we can't forget TB20 or TB12 with 24 points. I mean, he had a shitty game, but fantasy-wise, he had an average game. I don't know. Garoppolo was 23.6, who basically met him. This was the matchup of the former New England quarterbacks. So you go through the day, and I basically feel confident, but I'm concerned about Michael Thomas. And once Michael Thomas shit the bed, I knew I could go to sleep, and I did. I literally went to sleep.
He didn't just shit the bed. They had to throw the mattress out.
I mean, essentially, we had a horrid performance, but we beat you at every position. But you were just that much more hard, except for defense. Is that it?
That's it.
Defense. Your defense outplayed my defense. Yes.
That's it. Yep. I actually fell asleep during the New Orleans game. Thank God, because I would have been livid. But I was expecting more than 4.7. I thought that was a typo. So they didn't add the rest of the points in yet. Apparently somebody rolled up on his ankles. Convenient how people get rolled up on after they get paid.
And that Michael Thomas injury took place in absolute garbage time. There was the game, they were just running up the score. I think it was right as Harbatkin posted in the Facebook group that the Saints are just rubbing it in. And it was a 3rd and 10 at the 10-yard line when they were already up by 10 with 30 seconds left, and some guy just bonked into his ankle. So that's devastating.
Even better.
Yeah, I mean,
it serves the Saints right. This is what the Saints will do, and then they'll complain about the field, the turf being messed up and whatever. And the worst part of a Michael Thomas injury or any receiver injury like that is they're already saying he's not going to Vegas next week. But then they'll probably say he'll be back in week 3. He's going to tough it out because he's just that good a player. Bullshit. He'll be a fucking decoy. I've seen this happen before. Teams do this all the time just to free up space for other receivers. I don't trust it. I'm saying right now I would be super skeptical of Thomas for the next 3 weeks.
So you would have. Yeah. So if Whalers were to give you a horse manure trade deal, you would just trade away Thomas. For example, I'm not saying that he did. I'm just saying hypothetically, if Whalers were to offer. I don't know. Give me an example, Geese, that you think that Whalers would offer for Michael Thomas.
Let me just pulling it out of thin air. Let me see what kind of offer Whalers might actually offer.
Hypothetically, of course.
David Montgomery and Mike Williams.
For Michael Thomas,
David Montgomery, part of the trade mockery all of last season.
I already got offered the David Montgomery.
Did you? You
yes,
got packaged up some junk bonds? Well,
yeah, that's a future I have no interest in investing in.
But who was in your Montgomery deal? Was it also Mike Williams or some other person he got for free?
I forgot. It might have been no. I don't know if it was Mike Evans. That was the other person who was aggressively trying. No. Okay, yeah, someone else was trying to
really, Eugene trying to engage in nefarious trading. Shocker. Or maybe it was actually
right.
Maybe it was Lombardi. Yeah, I think actually you're right.
I think it might have been Lombardi. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to impugn your name, Eugene. Yeah, I know that you already have a chip on your shoulder for last week, and I offered to have you on the show to tell Lutsky how bad he is at this, but you haven't taken it up.
No, the numbers speak for themselves. This would have been a perfect opportunity to just lambaste me because look at this horrid performance.
Yeah, I know. You could really lambaste him on this one. All right, so then going on, we had a bench blunder, by the way, also. And speaking of players that were thrown in the garbage can, Godert from Godert.com who Geese mocked last week, saying that, you know,
he
wasn't
said,
gonna...
look for Goddard to have a big week. And I said, who wrote that? Goddard.com?
And then Whalers dumps him in the garbage can. I pick him up out of the garbage can. He has a huge game, but I play Gronkowski.
Who got a whopping 3 points. Yeah. But he still beat my guy.
Well, yeah, I beat you there too. My bench blunder actually out blundered your bench blunder too. So even on the bench blunders, we slightly outperformed you in everything. But yeah, this was just an absolute garbage game between two garbage teams and frankly two garbage coaches. I don't know what else to say. I have nothing nice to say. Look, in the future, I plan on doing better, but this is an embarrassment. I think I said to you mid-Sunday, Geese, like, this is the game that you just want to get out with. Just like, let me win. I just want to get out with a win and just forget about this week. Yeah. And one of the two of us had to do it. I'm glad it was me, but I don't feel proud about this. I have lots of shame for this game.
I had high hopes for Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb and Chris Thompson, I rationalized their starts, but let's just say it didn't plan out that way. Randall Cobb literally they didn't even look at him. They snapped the ball and he just literally stood there. Like he just stood there. Like he wasn't part of the offense. He was a non-factor. That's why you were so embarrassed that he got 4 points, because he literally did nothing. He didn't even deserve those 4 points. He did literally, they snapped the ball and he just stopped.
So you gave me a good rationale for starting Randall Cobb, but what was your rationale for benching Sammy Watkins?
For Randall Cobb. It was the same rationale, because I thought Cobb would be more utilized. But Sammy Watkins is clearly utilized in the Chiefs offense, so hopefully we can put him in and he'll do something next week.
Or he'll do what he did last year and have a fantastic first game, and then the second game when you play him.
Or that could happen too.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what to say about Evan Ingram. The Giants are just putridly horrible.
They're so bad.
They're horrific.
Yeah.
They are horrific.
Chris Thompson.
And then Chris Thompson, again, I figured I think Jay Gruden is one of the coaches there. He came over from Jay Gruden's former team. It would be third down, but I didn't count on Phillip Rivers being so horrid in Indianapolis. So Jacksonville basically never really trailed, so they never really had to have any third downs where they would have to throw it. So that's
the only play Phillip Rivers has in the book is dumping it off to his pass receiver.
Oh, that's a great segue. Manny, a lot of people have some questions for your pocketbook purchase.
I have no question, rather, as I have.
I initially put down like 50 and 60, but I'm like, I need this guy because this is Phillip Rivers' only play.
Right, and he's up there with the caliber of Mahomes, right? Phillip Rivers.
So you basically bet against yourself, because at 50 you were already a whopping
you were miles ahead of the game.
$34 ahead of the highest bid after.
Right.
Well, hopefully
there's still some more
Hawkinson last year.
There's still some more space in the toilet bowl for me to flush money down. So let me make it 90. But you did outdo Hawkinson. I think I bid like 68. You blew that number out of the water.
Yeah.
I mean, $5 less than McCaffrey. I mean, I think that they're comparable running back.
He got 95 from McCaffrey. Oh my god!
Because whenever you can spend $90 for
and spending in the draft, you do for it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's move to your game, since both of you are here, and we can also look at the deficiencies, that you had and how Nyheim Hines will be the game changer.
This is almost like two real teams going at it, Dave.
I know. I know, that's like a real game. That's amazing. Like, look at these scores. 155. That's like our scores, but with ones in front of them. All right, so 155.90. This is when the Lions win against the Hackettstown's Finest. 149.84. This is your game, guys. Which one of you wants to take? I mean, I guess winners can have their first whatever. Nick, go through.
Sure.
I need a drink for this.
While Manny toasts to defeat, going to a Thursday night, Mahomes goes first, and the thinking already is, if he gets 30 and over against just not a good Houston team, which is even worse because Hopkins is no longer there. I was anticipating the worst. I was expecting like 35, 40 points from Mahomes, and then the game just kind of has this weird slowness to it. Not to mention the fact that they've got a really good rookie running back. So we come out of that game only down like 26 points. So like, all right, this could get competitive. And then the rest of the way, Murray has a good second half against the 49ers, which is, once again, the Kyle Shanahan team costs up a lead. And Murray is just a good second half quarterback. So they played well, and that rushing touchdown came in very handy. For some strange reason, Cooper Kupp suddenly doesn't become the feature point of the offense, despite getting a payday like 48 hours before. But the Rams are just running it a lot. They have a three-headed monster running back. I think Kupp didn't get his shares, but I think that's going to get better as the season progresses. Atlanta, like they're going to be a lot this season, was just playing catch up. They were getting smoked by Seattle. Ridley is the touchdown receiver. For some reason, they just don't go to Julio, in the red zone. Zeke does what he does. It was it was a good running game for Dallas, and I think that's gonna be a sort of steady thing going through the season. Yeah, and Elliott and Kamara, that's kind of what we build around, is as we've done the last couple of years, and hopefully this year we make sure. Not hopefully, we will. Barring any injuries, keep our money where we keep it in our running backs. And Kamara just came in strong against Tampa. What's that, Dave?
And actually keep your running backs instead of trading them away to every other team.
Exactly. And then obviously, Deontay, Monday night, it comes right down to Monday night. We're going into that game down 17 with two players and two players I've never really paid attention to. So in the Giants game, Deontay Johnson has a fumble, so already it's -2. So I'm already panicking. I was like, all right, what looked like a decent chance of winning may actually get a lot harder. Second half, though, I think it was targeted like 6-7 times, made the most of it. And then suddenly we go into the last game down, I think, about 7. So early on, Smith gets picks up 3 points, gets 2 or 3 more points later into the game. When the touchdown sort of put us over the edge. Probably the biggest surprise, aside from Cooper Kupp, probably Philadelphia's defense. I had no idea that the Washington football team would actually get a win this year, and for them to get a win on opening day was equally shocking. That Eagles defense is horrible, and that was probably the first thing I thought about doing, is just getting rid of them, which we did this morning. And I'm all about them young hoes, young ho Cooper, Atlanta.
He used to be my young ho, and now he's
my young ho now. Yeah, and it's 9 points from the kicker. So yeah, it's just a good all around performance. Again, it definitely led off with Mahomes coming just a little under projections, and then everyone just basically, for the most part, played true to form. Just the only surprise being Kupp and the Philly defense.
So, Manny, we can move on to you. Let's see, were there any bench blunders? So we have Robbie Anderson, by the way, with 25.5 points on your bench. Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about that Anderson play is it basically comes off of a 75-yard touchdown pass. Obviously, it's against the Raiders. I'm paying attention to it. It's 75 for the catch and run. Then you've got the touchdown. So, yeah, all of it really came from one play. And it stings, and it does make me call into question going forward. Does Anderson take the flex position over Deontay?
I think he does.
I don't.
Really? See,
no.
But see, all right. So there's two types of receivers. There's the receivers that are going to get you, a bunch of receptions, like the over the middle slot guys and whatever. And then there's like the guys who are going to go deep, the Mike Evans, who are going to get, 8 targets for 3 receptions and a touchdown. Like I think Anderson can fit into that kind of role. Maybe
he's never been that though. And he did that against a rookie corner and, Damon Arnett, first round pick of the Raiders, who's playing with a broken hand. Like he puts a double move on him and just, runs a go route. I don't know who Carolina plays next week, but Anderson reminds me of Deontay Johnson. Yeah. So it's a slightly better secondary. I don't know. I'm still, the Steelers have Denver this coming weekend. I think Johnson was I believe was second in targets over Juju Smith-Schuster. So I tend to lean that way, but I tend to think the touchdown for Anderson was a bit of a fluke. I may be wrong, and it's going to still be pretty matchup.
But it'll be on your bench. You'll be able to assess it and then see.
We'll see. But
all right, on the other side of the ball, Manny, you had an impressive game. First of all, I thought your team is shit. So this is really impressive. So
yeah, I mean, see, a lot of my guys are not, like household names. I got, besides Mahomes, I don't have any like true firepower. But I mean, I had strategy going into the draft, and I felt like I had guys that could kind of have a breakout year, like Chris Carson and Mostert from the Niners. But this game,
Mustard had one catch.
Yeah, he had one catch. You want to talk about the Robbie Anderson thing as the running back? See, that's a little different. You don't have running backs that just break it for 75 yards every game. So he is more. I'm more skeptical about him. But okay.
But he gets. I don't know. He seems to be in there more than. McKinnon has been in there too. But I don't know. He seemed to be on the field more than not. I don't know.
Which is your job as a football player, I would assume.
Yeah, I know. The right guard for San Francisco was on the field a lot too. It doesn't mean I'm drafting him.
True. But this game was just like a heart attack for the whole weekend. I mean, it just occupied and ruined my whole weekend. I mean, because from like Thursday, I was watching Mahomes and I was like hoping he could build as you said, like a 30 point cushion. And I mean, 26 is good, but you expect more from a guy like that against a Houston team where it's going to be a shootout. And I was kind of disappointed how good Edward Hilarious was. I mean, it was not very hilarious to me that he was getting a lot of touches. But so that, I was hoping I could get at least 30 from him. Carson was good. I was on the fence whether to put in Edelman or John Brown this week, and I made the wrong decision. I mean, it would have been probably like similar to our game last year where I beat you by 0.1 points. So if I put John Brown in, but I mean Edelman had 13 points, but just with Cam throwing to him, it's just not the same as Brady. So I'm hoping for better production out of him. And, it was all my guys went early and all of Nick's guys went late. So, I was just hoping to build a cushion. I built a decent cushion, but it just wasn't quite enough at the end.
Yeah. So Nick is just even – oh, wait, are you back? Look at this. I thought you were just disrespecting the man. I'm not even going to listen to your analysis. Screw you. Look at my daughter.
Oh, no. I do what I normally do on work calls. I'm always listening. Don't fool yourself. But, I don't think everyone needs to see me combing through my pantry for a late night snack.
I mean, what do you got? Depends on what you have.
Well, I'm about to make a drink to celebrate this week's win. So I'm like, where's the vodka? But
we drink whiskey here.
Yeah, man, and I have had some close games. It's fun. Yeah. It's a budding rivalry. So, it's good to start the year off. And again, my tendency to pass everyone is is noticed. Just a tendency to give up early and start to panic. So, obviously being intentional this year about not doing so. But yeah, no, it started off well, and next week's matchups look good. So it's just good to be in that position. Obviously, it's funny because you get to a point like even if you come up short, a loss sucks, but it's like you see the team's output and you realize it's a good team. Like we walk into the season feeling as though we have a chance to at least be a 500 ball club and possibly a couple of games go our direction like the one this past week. And then suddenly it's more like 70% wins, 60% wins, and then you're just in the conversation for the playoffs. So good to start start week one with a win.
Yeah, so I'm looking at your bench, Manny. There's actually the bench performed really well. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I'm looking. First of all, you have the Robinson guy in Jacksonville. He was getting a lot of targets there.
Yeah, he was.
John Brown with 19 points. Emmanuel Sanders with 10.5. But you got to figure
Michael Thomas being hurt, he's probably going to get more touches, so more targets. So I like the way my bench is going. And now with my $90 guy, hopefully he adds to it.
I still question. Pardon me for questioning the $90 deal, but I see Mark Ingram. I mean, I know he only got 2.9 points last week, but he was the one that you dropped. right into the lap of the Whalers for his Christmas in September. Why not Bourne or somebody like why Mark Ingram? Why would he be the one that you dropped for him?
Well, I dropped Bourne for Hines. And then Ingram I dropped for Valdez-Scantling. I think Rodgers looked like, he's back to his old self, and he looks like he's going to, go with that two-headed monster with Valdez-Scantling and Devontae Adams. So
James White?
I think, I have 3 running backs already, decent running backs, especially if Robinson does well and Hines does well. And then I have my Mustard, who you guys aren't a fan of, but I'm hoping for the best, and Carson and James White. So I think I have a decent running back core, and Ingram just he's got 4 guys that he's competing with, and Lamar runs more than all of them. So it's like, I don't know. I just don't have confidence that he's going to have a great year.
All right, fair enough.
Okay, that's yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I still wouldn't have done it, but it's a fair enough explanation of why one would.
Yeah, looking at everybody else, who would you drop instead?
I know. I mean, he's got a decent team at this point. I mean, I wouldn't have spent $90 for Hines, but
that's going bold. That's going big, and we.
Yeah, well,
I didn't get Dalvin Cook, and I lost out of on him because you just kept jacking up the price, and I'm like, Gaza is like he's a happy spender.
I know, like $78 is a lot of money. Like, so why not just spend 90? Okay. Why? Yeah, exactly. Why spend 68, publicly when you could spend $90 in a silent
$90 in a private bid.
Yeah.
I would have beaten anyone else this week, but Zamunda or Tillette. So I'm okay with the performance.
Yeah, I mean,
that's true. That's true.
All right, so let's move on. I guess we could. If we want to go to the Tillage game, I mean, we might as well.
I mean, I was waiting. I was so disappointed Eugene was supposed to come on the show.
I know.
Ample opportunity to lambaste everybody.
I know, because he really, I mean, with his barn burning 126.8, he really, I mean, certainly he could talk shit to me.
To me, too.
Yeah, I mean, he can't talk shit to the other 2 people on the show, but to the top half here, he could lambaste us. But yes, so Tillatre.
Tillette was like, hold this tray, will you?
Yeah, this was ridiculous. So, I mean, a lot of it on the back of Devontae Adams, who had 41.60 points. So Drew Brees gets 18.4, 24.7 from Julio Jones. I mean, you want to talk about a wide receiver combo meal right there. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good one. He played the right Johnson, David Johnson, in that game. 19.9 points for him, only 6.7 for Cohen. Font, wow, look at that font. That was an impact font rather than sans serif. 19.1 for him, 24.5 for Clam Crowder. Lutz got 10 and 10 for the Pittsburgh defense. I mean, clearly this is a good team, and they played well. I've been saying forever, look out for Jim. He's a good coach. Yeah, he showed it. As far as Dave's secret crush, 19.64 for Prescott. Will Fuller with 19.2, which is a good game. I mean, the problem with Will Fuller is not that he's bad.
Next week.
Yeah, exactly. He'll be injured. Like, like you can't rely on him. But yeah, it's good. I'm sure you're going to be more than satisfied with being able to criticize him here, Geese.
No, I'm going to be the classier coach. I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, 9.4 for DJ Moore. Josh Jacobs, he was really good. He actually paid, I think he was his highest paid player in the auction for 35.9 points. That's a good pickup, and that's a good play. Le'Veon Bell goes down with an injury, 6.6. He's now on IR. Wow, look at that. I didn't even know. Well, that's significant. What do we have here in the?
That's news to me too.
I know they placed Le'Veon. It's probably news to him too. He's learning on the podcast. The Jets placed Le'Veon Bell on hamstring on injured reserves. as we know by now, Bell will be eligible to return in 3 weeks. In Bell's case, that will be in Week 5 versus Arizona. Frank Gore will be the first man up in Bell's absence. All right. So, Travis.
Last week, you play any defense that goes against the Bengals. This year, you go play any defense that plays the Jets. I mean,
that's not that different than last year.
That's true. The Jets were in that conversation too.
Yeah. Kelsey, 17 points there, which is acceptable. The fact that he got beat out by Font is kind of disappointing for the best tight end supposedly in the game. McLaurin with 11.10. I know he's touting him a lot. The kicker only got 4. And the kickers, by the way, how many field goals were missed this week? It was a lot. Yeah, I mean, every time I would look, they were missing field goals, they were missing extra points. I mean, you would think that would be the one. There's nobody in the stands. Like, what is distracting you? Like, you don't need pad practice for the preseason. None of that made sense. Like, I don't understand why they were so terrible. But Gostkowski, by the way, was the worst offender out of all of this. Like, how many did he miss? Like, the fact that he got 4.
Almost everything.
He missed extra point. I mean, so he missed extra point. I think he missed 3 field goals during that game.
Yeah.
I mean, he was atrocious. And then the Denver defense.
He wasn't missing them in New England when there was flying going on.
He must have had something to do with Tom Brady and the balls. He was the real beneficiary of the balls. So Miles Sanders, he was injured, so he didn't play. AJ Green only got 10.10. Aaron Rodgers with 38.76 points. He's got to regret that decision right there. Also, why? This gets back to my thing about Eugene. He spent all of, he had all of the money in the world, and you could have gotten more than 2 quarterbacks.
Whoa, you're getting into dicey territory.
I know. The fans are going to write. They're going to write hate mail to me.
This is what set off the messages last week.
I know
Eugene is questioning his coaching moves.
I know. I'm sorry. He is. I can't see his genius, and he's better than me. I mean, he's clearly better than me. I can't criticize him. Great move putting Aaron Rodgers on the bench for 38.7. Actually, it's not. I actually don't fault him for that decision. I mean, I didn't.
So Eugene, when you go into your tirades, remember to leave me out of it because I have said nothing. Yeah, I've taken the high road.
He's taking the high road.
I mean, I had Aaron Rodgers last year. He either goes for like 45 points or he goes for like 12. I mean, there's no in between with him.
Yeah. I actually don't mind the decision. I think
a little bit of Manny's justification for getting rid of Mark Ingram because, as you can see, that Dobbins guy got 14. So it is quite a crowded backfield there in Baltimore.
Yeah, plus Lamar runs like half the time. So the remaining 50% of the rushes are divvied up between 4 guys.
I just think that there's maybe some trade bait that could happen there or something. But I mean, I guess if you don't have the space and you're not looking to trade anybody, like, why not? Like, it doesn't. I accept your justification, just like I accept, how we're blessed to have the greatest coach in the league, Eugene, in our league, and I don't question these mistakes. I mean, there are no mistakes. What am I saying? Gibson was 6.4 on the bench.
He's like the king of bench blunders. I mean, last year was
Whoa. Send the hate mail, care of Manny Commissioner.
Shot fired, man down. Officer, man down.
Rodgers this week.
Send it to the commissioner's office. Don't send it to this show. We are just, we just.
All right.
No, but I mean, clearly he's better than the top half and of this broadcast and the bottom half. Nick certainly is getting a long snack now, so he doesn't care. All right, moving. Nick was smart enough to know he doesn't want to say. He's not even going to say anything about Eugene. He doesn't want the hate mail directed in his direction, so he's just going to put his daughter up there in the fire.
Daughter up there can coach the team better.
So Nick is going to escape any kind of criticism there. Make sure to write your complaints to. First of all, write it on the comments section of the videos, because YouTube likes that, and we'll promote the channel or whatever with all 6 viewers. All right, so moving on to the next game. Where would we like to go after this? I guess we'll just go down the line. Let's go to the Lightning Rods versus the Mighty Whalers. So the Lightning Rods win 127.98 to 119.76. I have to say, and I don't necessarily think this is his fault, but I do think that the Whalers are in big trouble. But we can start on the other side of the ball first. So Russell Wilson, typical kind of Russell Wilson game where he's one of those guys that also goes off for ridiculous amounts or ends up, getting very little. But 39.78, fantastic game in Atlanta. Odell Beckham, oh man, for only 5.2 points. That's got to hurt. Allen Robinson II, the former Whaler, with 12.30 points. Hilaire with 19.8. I mean, this is who you're talking about. He is looking legit. Singletary with 10.30 points. Herndon ended up being disappointing, as is all Jets at all times, so with 7.70 points. Smith-Schuster with 24.90 points. And now with a questionable tag. Zerline with 5, and the Tennessee defense with 3. For the Whalers, Roethlisberger did really well in his return against the Giants. Tyler Lockett with 17.2. He looks fine. Slayton, I don't know what happened there. 28.20 points. He was the only one on the Giants who seemed to get anything. I mean, Saquon got his 12, but still. And then you start to get into the problem areas on this squad. So Eckler with 9.7 points. It's starting to look, I don't know. It's only week 1, so you don't know. But it's starting to look possibly like those running backs were really products of Phillip Rivers more than them being running backs themselves, which is why, somebody might spend $90 for Nyheim Hines. Kittle went down with an injury. I know in that game, 9.3 points. What's his status? Knee did not practice Wednesday. Something about a dumpster fire. But could still play week 2 against the Jets, though the Niners don't need him in order to beat that dumpster fire. I love it. That's my team. James Conner ended up getting injured.
All right, this I'm going to tell you right now signals the Shafto trades will be coming this week, everyone. Just board up your doors and windows because Shafto trades are on the way.
Oh, yes. There is no way.
I hope Amazon has some extra staffing right now because Shafto trades are coming to your door.
Yes.
I've already been bombarded with 2 of them.
From friend to friend, Gronky Kong, be aware.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gronky Kong, watch this podcast and be aware of what happens. But yes, don't think, oh, what a nice guy. The Whalers, I remember them. They were a hockey team.
Offering me 2 for 1.
Yeah, 2 for 1. I gotta go take
the
this.
Garbage from the dumpster, a half-eaten bologna sandwich, and a half-eaten Reuben.
Didn't we? I mean, we'll go through this when we go through the transactions. But he picked up Mark Ingram, right? I mean, there's no way Mark Ingram.
Yeah, congratulations, whoever did.
Yeah, there's no way that he's not getting packaged up in a trade.
Oh yeah,
for like a number 1 something. So Connor goes down with an injury. Gonzalez, the kicker, he missed one, but he got a 50-yard field goal, which made him have 8. And then the Indianapolis defense with 3 points.
Let's click that bench players button because I want to see who. Let's preview who could be packaged up for half-eaten tuna sandwich. Tomorrow morning.
I mean, Montgomery has got to be.
There he is. He was already in mine. Look, the top 2, Williams and Montgomery, I already got offered.
Which Williams? Because I
got the top Williams.
You got the top Williams?
Michael Thomas. This was for Michael Thomas, mind you. So
of course. So he wouldn't even offer you Preston Williams, who, by the way, now that Devontae Adams has gone down, Preston Williams might see more, targets or something. Frankly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he offered Scott Williams in a deal. Just get me off this team.
That's why Preston Williams wasn't offered because Devontae Parker went down.
Yeah,
actual quality. That's one of the key components of the Shafto trade. There's no actual quality off. You can't. Oh, I don't want to risk. Whoa, that guy might do something. Hold on, let me find someone else.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, so Kareem Hunt did. So on the other side of the bench, Kareem Hunt was 12.10 points. He seemed to do better than Chubb did, from what I recall on Gronky Kong. Yeah, and then Devontae Parker with 8.10 points, but he went down with the injury. So,
Judge Judy.
Yeah, Judge Judy over there with 9.6. Yeah, I mean, good enough win for the Lightning Rods. I mean, frankly, with all of the problems that he had with injury, like, I mean, he had Kittle and Connor both go down with injuries in this game, and to still come out, I mean, and you know, and the bottom half of his, it just drops off a cliff after Saquon Barkley, who, by the way, only got 12.6. I mean, to still score 119, you know, that certainly would have beaten us. So who are we to talk?
Yeah, definitely. But I'm just curious, who gets packaged up in Shafto trades? I mean,
maybe James Conner, because now that he's
an injury bundle, an injury discount.
Here, these guys will
injury discount.
Yeah, these guys will be good down the line.
Just get the injury report.
Yeah, just don't worry about it. Look, I think it's worth one of your best players.
Pass the savings on to his competitors.
Yeah, I think it's worth your money for Connor. He's not gonna.
Connor and Kittle, they're half price.
And then they throw a quarterback in there too. Sometimes.
The deal.
Hey, Thomas is injured. Why not just get an injuries trade?
What about Hardman? I think he dropped him. I don't even know. So yeah.
It's gonna. I just want to see. Mark Ingram was that was Christmas in September, obviously.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the interesting, you know, I you know, like in weeks 6 and 7, when we want to invite him on the program and we don't know why he wants to not come on, it's moments like these that I realize, oh yeah, this is why people don't want to come on the show.
well,
except we're nice to them when they're on the show. If you're not on the show, then we're gonna stream like garbage.
I'd say Slayton's he's fair game.
For what?
As a Shafto trade, he's
yeah, that's a one-off.
Max of
I don't
Shafto.
think
That's a sell high right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Golden Tate is still out. Like, no, I would not. I mean, I would not get shafted with Slayton. I just don't feel like he's a big enough name anyway. I mean, you'd have to sell the score, and he's got to sell him now. I mean, he's priced to move.
He's priced to shaft.
I don't know.
He's got a sharp end right now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll look for like a Connor for Odell deal kind of thing. Well, he wants the 2-for-1 because he wants to free up space so they can move other shaftos out of there. Yeah, I don't know.
The problem is in the past, Whalers has had decent meat to throw out there. This will be hard to. He'll have to package up a 2-for-1, which is.
I have full confidence that he'll be able to move these players. There is no way. I think there was one season where Whalers was quote unquote bad. I think, and it was. I want to say it was. I think it was the season where Tillette actually made it to the finals. There's no way that Whalers will accept a poor team. Just won't. I mean, the man's been in half of the finals. He's always competitive, and he just won't accept. And he will shaft his way to get back. And he sees. And look, he does see talent. I mean, he was the one of the people who went and got Allen Robinson last year. He's good at this. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've you ignore him to your peril because he'll come back just when you think that he's terrible.
Got some problem spots on this roster.
Yeah, but right now, yes. But I'm pretty sure he's going to find a way back. I mean, you know. All right. So, anything else in this game? I don't think so. Let's go to the new guy, Gronky Kong versus Cyberdyne Industries.
Cyberdyne injuries.
Maybe.
Is that
Okay.
a combination of Whalers team and the Blues?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Cyberdyne wins 135.30 against Gronky Kong, who actually tried to play this week. I'm assuming 118.98 in an upset. So here, what happened for the Robo team? Goff got 10.5, 29.10 for Hopkins. So he actually ended up performing. That's good
That
there.
was impressive. I was not expecting.
Yeah, I was not expecting that either. Amari Cooper with 18.1. There was some doubt there about him as well. Rojoke got 10. Yeah, got 10.20 points, Sony Michel with 9.7. Andrews, the tight end over in Baltimore with 22.8. 13.9 for Godwin, 10 for the kicker, and 11 for the New England defense. On the other side for Gronky Kong in his first game in the league. So Allen did really well with 32.10, then 31 for Thielen. I mean, that guy, that was a complete steal. We should have all seen that. I don't know why. What did he go for in the draft? I mean, like, how nobody.
Yeah, he stole him.
He did. I mean, how nobody even picked up. I mean, there's nobody else there. There's nobody else there. But other than that, I mean, T.Y. Hilton, 9.30, taking carries away from Hines.
Philip can't throw deep down the field anymore.
No, so he's going to throw it
Well,
to
if
Hines.
Hilton was a running back, he would have been
Hines. There we
Yeah,
go.
if he was a running back, absolutely, he'd be worth like $180. But since he's not, he's only worth 9.3 points. Todd Gurley with 13.7. Nick Chubb, the other has. So it looks like, Hunt had the better game. So 5.6 for Chubb. Waller, who I had him last year. Nick, you could certainly opine about Waller, but 10.50 points. Plus Ruggs went down with an injury. So we'll see how that impacts that. Allen with 7.7. And then the kicker 9 and 0, a whooping goose egg for the Detroit defense. Looking at the bench, so 0 for Sutton. What's going on here? 15 for another Brown. What has Brown done for you? Was his mountain? Who?
Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood Brown. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, Marquise Brown. Okay. Sorry, get out of the way. I don't need TC. I was just trying to get the name. Connor Lamb, right? Zach Moss with 11.7. Burrow, who Geese didn't even hear of the other day. He's like, who's this Burrow guy? Which is just embarrassing. But whatever. 16.3 points, and then Jarwin with only 2.2 and on the injured reserve list. So he should be dropped. All right. Taylor Swift on the bench over there got 11.3, 7.2 for Mike Evans, but he's questionable. So he had some problems. Robert Woods, though, 17.9, so he's actually performing. 3.4 for Coleman, 16.60 for last year's Nyheim Hines. So let that be a warning to everybody else. In the auction next year is when you're going to want to spend the $90 on Hines, because clearly Hawkinson, it takes a year for these guys to gel from their paycheck.
Right. It's just so much money thrown at them at once.
Yeah, they don't have to spend it, so they gotta, Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, Cyberdyne won this one handily, so we'll see what happens once Lombardi starts meddling.
I don't think he's gonna meddle. I think he's gonna just literally
the computer ride. Let it ride.
I think he's gonna do the bare minimum, just like make sure that there's a player in every position, and that's it.
I think he's like that Upgrade movie where the computer put Lombardi to sleep. He's in a coma. Cyberdyne taking over. Cyberdyne injuries is taking over.
Josh Allen is he's pretty good. He's underrated. I mean,
he also played the Jets.
Good point.
Both of those points are actually accurate, but I do think that he's good. And I do think that he played the Jets.
Buffalo's a legit team. I mean, and Allen is one of the better running quarterbacks in the league. So I think they play Miami this week. So the Miami already gave up like 75 rushing yards to Cam Newton, I think. That's legit. I mean, and the only challenge there is, the 50% of Gronk's points are coming from his top two players. which that's mathematically not sustainable.
Yeah, and then and Keenan Allen, clearly Tyrod Taylor's not going to be getting the ball.
Tyrod Taylor's garbage.
Yeah.
I imagine Justin Herbert, their first-round pick, will get probably by week 4. You'll probably move him in. I don't know what the holdup is. The Chargers. I feel bad for anyone who has any Chargers because I think without Rivers, that none of those skill players are actually going to be worth much in fantasy this year.
Yeah,
we'll see what Herbert does, though.
Donkey Kong has good receivers. It's just the quarterbacks that are throwing to them are crappy. Even including Thielen. It's just the fact that he's the only guy.
Yeah.
You know?
What do you call it? So you also have what do you call it? What do you think about Waller, Nick? I mean, because you would know more than anybody else as our resident.
That I would. Well, I mean, I think 10 points. And David, you and I were talking about this before. The Raiders had a lot of massive upgrades at receiver. Their 2 rookie receivers started this weekend. Ruggs. In addition to a deep 55-yard pass, they ran him a couple of times. They're going to use him as a weapon. Ruggs is Oakley, or now look at me right there. Vegas' response to Tyreek Hill. Not a great response, but a opportunity to be a good one. And then also, the other side, Brian Edwards, who had, I think, about 75% of the snap count from what I saw this morning. It's going to be tough. I mean, even Hunter Renfrow last year, who in the second half which is just a good impact receiver for the team, Waller's going to be the one to lose out. And the fact that Jacobs, I think, had about 40 receiving yards. So they're going to throw the ball to him more. All of that spells that, what should be a top 5 tight end in Waller, it takes a step back. I think that may change a little this weekend. I think the Saints' corner is a little bit better, so that may give Waller some more opportunities up in the middle for a car to get some passes too. But this doesn't bode well. I think Waller doesn't have the kind of year he did last year for the reasons I just gave. But it's tough. I mean, why wouldn't you spend the money? And, for a guy perceived to be a good receiver. But I think a lot of the talent around him got better. So, inevitably that just takes away more opportunities for him to score.
Yeah. All right. So that moves us on to the last game, unless anybody else has any comments about this game. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, moving on to Nick and Jamie versus the Wakanda Panthers.
Call them the garbage barge?
I mean, the garbage barge.
We were the garbage barge.
Yeah, exactly. So also, so you and I were talking with Dr. Hockey actually on the weekend during these games and everything else. And one of the things, which was a good point that Dr. Hockey made, he's too busy jogging to grace us with his presence. But one of the things about this team, they feel like the kind of team that reads page 7 of Fantasy Digest. Like they get the clever, interesting pick that that people are talking about on page 7, but they forget to read page 1. So, and that's what this team feels like a whole bunch of page 7 players. Okay, Deshaun Watson, fine, that's not a clever pick, but and Tyreek Hill, that's legit. So 22.82 and 15.60 respectively. But Michael Gallup is like that clever kind of chic. Amari Cooper's not going to really do this, but I heard all the stuff. I read, the index.
I got drafted by Manny last year with Michael Gallup. He's garbage.
Yeah, he was one of my package players for a trade.
Kenyon Drake. It's like, okay, 14.5, but you still have Chase Edmonds back there and everything else. Mixon, I got to say, they look like garbage in Cincinnati. Zach Ertz with 10.80 points. Getting beaten by GoDirt.com. Ruggs is another one that was like, I know, Nick, you were actually a fan, but I know that they're not a fan of the Vegas Raiders, and they just read page 7, which is how they got Ruggs, and now he's injured.
Well, he's listed fine now. He was injured that game, I think, with a knee injury. He came back, but they're an interesting one. Gallup, I heard the same thing. I heard, I think on the Ringer fantasy football show just before the season started was talked up. I think their rookie CeeDee Lamb is going to be the number 2 receiver this year, and And I think Cooper is so up and down. I think we tend to think of Amari Cooper as, being so much, more consistent than someone like a Sammy Watkins, and he is to some extent. But Cooper pulls disappearing acts. As a Raiders fan, we are very familiar with Amari Cooper pulling a disappearing act.
As is Tillette, by the way.
Yes.
Right. Ruggs will be what he is. It's going to be interesting next week. I think if he's healthy, it's a home opener in Vegas. Obviously, with no fans. I think they're going to continue to use him all over the field. So we'll see if he's, averaging, closer to 10, 12 points a game.
Yeah.
And that San Francisco defense, Kyler Murray is legit. That's a good Cardinals team. San Francisco coming off a Super Bowl loss. And I tend to think they are a little overrated. I mean, they're going to if I had to pick a defense to take this coming weekend, I'm taking them over the dumpster fire that is the Jets. But and Watson
out for a couple weeks.
What's that?
Richard Sherman is out for a couple weeks.
Yeah, he's old. What do we expect? Like it's I'm not surprised by that. But Watson's going to be, I think, this year's garbage time all-star. I think Houston basically gave away their team when they traded away Hopkins for a second-round pick and a bag of chips. So I think Watson's just going to be, playing from behind the whole season, which is great for fantasy.
Garbage barge, so he's on the right team.
And we'll see if Fuller stays healthy. It's usually around week 11 that Fuller tends to disappear for the rest of the season. And on the other side, there's that too.
Well, it's usually twice. So usually, I mean, I've had Will Fuller for most of these seasons. So usually it's twice. Like he'll tweak something early in the season, take a couple games off, come back, be ready to go. He's looking good, and then that's where it really goes down.
It's like he's relaxing. He takes a couple games off. I'm out.
Yeah, and then he's like, "No, I'm better. I'm ready to go. I'm no longer with
return." Right? He makes a big return.
Right.
And then he's done for the year.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, it's not in the first game back. It's usually in the second game back. When he comes back for the first game, you're like, all right, I'm ready to go. Will Fuller. And then sometimes he'll make an appearance in the playoffs just to screw you over to lose your playoff game because you're like, do I play this guy or not? Like, he's good, but he's going to get injured. And then, and then
he had all season to rest because of his injury.
Right. So on the other side of the ball for Wakanda, speaking of injuries, he already had before the game. He needs his some Wakanda Mutual because before the game he already had 2 injuries before it even started, which was Galladay, and who else got injured? Oh, Deebo Samuel. He's also has some other injury reports coming further. But okay, so Lamar Jackson with 33.50 points. He's getting, that's one of the mainstays of his offense. Tyler Boyd with only 7.30, 6.6 for Deshaun Jackson, which frankly is more than I actually thought he got. 16.1 for Henry. That's good. Taylor, I mean, with Hines, I don't know how that's going to look, but 14.9 for Taylor. I think that actually only improves because that was really max roll. 7 for Higbee, 16.6 for Diggs. I think Diggs is one of the other. I mean, he has John Brown to compete with, but I think that Diggs is also somebody that is going to be good. 4 for Gano and 7 for the Kansas City defense. And then looking at his bench, Galladay still looks injured. I think Philip Lindsay got injured too. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Which bodes well for what's his name? Your guy, Melvin Gordon.
Brown with a 26-point performance.
Yeah, exactly. Although 2 rushing TDs for 79 yards, rushing yards, and 31 receiving yards. So it's largely on the TDs, but he's still good. Cam Newton with 25, so that's respectable as well. Breida with only 2.2. I mean, look, I think that this is another. This was a game like ours. It was 2 poor teams playing against each other, and one had to win. I mean, I think hockey has some. I think with Taylor coming in, Henry, I think that's a solid running back core, and he has Lamar. I think that there's enough to build around that, and then Diggs is good too. I think there's enough to build around. I mean, he just he worked at picking up some people.
And you look at his bench, Galladay, once he's healthy again, he's good. He's the primary catcher. Detroit. And who else does he have? If you could scroll down.
Malcolm Brown.
Malcolm Brown. True.
And
then Debo
Shepard.
back. So,
I mean, but this is what Wakanda does all the time. It has to deal with the injuries. The healthcare system there in Wakanda, we know, is not what it's, whatever. So yeah, I don't know. He won. He won.
Yeah, true.
And that's what you could say about that. Okay, I guess we should probably take a break, right? Because
Yep.
We're done with the first half games. When we come back on the other side of the break, we will go over the transactions and we'll look forward to next week's games. So I guess hang tight, stay tuned. I'll stop sharing that right there, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. Nick has decided to leave us, but we may be joined by Dr. Hockey if he completes his sub purchase at Wawa down in West Palm Beach. So, in the meantime, let's go look at the transactions as we what do you call it? Move along here. Oh yeah, I have to share the screen in order to do this. See, I'm still not totally prepared for all this stuff. There you go. There's the shared screen. And let's go down to the transactions. I wonder what we'll find here in these transactions. So, it all started last night.
Why don't we start with the FA bids page?
Oh, yes, that's where we should go.
The second highest person bid for some of Manny's players.
All right.
Really blew everybody away.
Wow, so 2 players. Actually, Geese, you wouldn't have even would you have had a higher position than the Blues?
Oh, look at that. The Blues would have been at 40.
I know. Cyberdyne injuries, actually, or industry started.
Cyberdyne injuries going in at 42.
Well, no, at 40. He had 40 like you.
Yeah, and then Tillette just edging out Till. A lot of people wanted this guy, Manny.
I know, 36.
My initial offer was 55. I wish I sticked at that. But
wow.
25
Look
by the round.
The whole league bid on this guy.
I know, 20 for Zamunda, 16 for Gronky. I actually tied Gronky Kong for that offer at the lowest. Wow. We were the two that just completely underestimated everybody. So,
it's very interesting. The whole league, pretty much.
The whole league wanted this guy bad.
Yeah, including everybody on this program. The only ones that.
He was the waiver wire target of the entire league, and I knew I had to put big money to get him. Sure.
I mean, not that big of money, but yes, big money.
Yeah.
Look at Benny Snell, $5 or 51. You could either have him for $5. 6 would have been fine, or 7. So let's just go 51. Let's close it out. Let's ice this deal.
But he's going to have the same problem as the Chubb and Hunt and I guess what I have now with Hines and what's the Colts' other back?
Taylor.
Oh, he actually has a backfield. You pair him with Mark Ingram.
Yeah, he's going to do fantastic last season. I did the thing with Snell. I mean, first of all, there was somebody else that came in. I mean, once Connor goes down, that backfield falls to shit. I mean, and granted, the team was shit last year, so maybe Snell will be better. But there was some other guy too, wasn't there? Like a Jackson or a Johnson or a Jones. I don't know. There's somebody else waiting in the wings to take that position too. Mm-hmm. Whatever. The Paris Campbell thing, I'm pissed at because I had him last week. I needed to move. I needed some room to pick up somebody. I don't even remember who. I mean, I could probably look it up. So I dropped him, picked up the other guy, and the reason why I dropped him is because he was in a car accident and he was like getting off a concussion. they're like, but he's ready to go. And I'm like, this guy was just in a car accident. I could wait a week off of him. But, of course, I couldn't. And all of the latte picks and shows on page 7 said to go pick this guy up. So, of course, Dr. Hockey picks up my own guy for $27 when I only bid 10. But I was only willing to bid 10 on that guy. Like, whatever. And you picked up wow. 3 competed for your for the football team. Look at that.
Yes.
So Gronky Kong bid nothing, but it's still fair enough. Zamunda bid 4, and you bid 14 for the football team. So now you have them
on a defense, and you're making fun of me.
Well, I mean, 14 is...
on a defense.
Yeah, you should have bid 90 at least.
Yeah, I'm right. It was way low. I should have went 60. Shame on me. I'll beef it up next time. It's only embarrassing. A lowly $14.
I know.
How you gotta bid some serious roll to do anything in this league. Look at 51 for Benny Snell, 90 for. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna beef it up now. I'm gonna bring my pocketbook next time for the football team.
So what do you think is the stupider price point to pay? Snell for 51 or Hines for 90?
Well, the whole
Hines
for Hines. I mean, you definitely put it to bed. I don't think you had to go that high.
But don't you think Hines has more upside than Snell?
I mean, you were bidding against yourself at that point.
Oh, wait. Dr. Hockey's calling in. Hold on a second, because he doesn't know how to. Hello, you're on the air, actually, Dr. Hockey, sort of. What? I mean, what's going on? I don't know. Do you know how to use the Zoom thing?
I do. I just don't know the credentials to log in.
Okay. Well, let's give Dr. Hockey the credentials. We're going to pause for a quick station break. You're listening here on the Center Sports Network. Hold on a second. Wait. I got to go to the... Oh, Dr. Hockey. Hold on.
Oh, Hockey, you want the credentials? I got them right here.
No, well, we don't have to broadcast it to the entire world right now. Hold on a second.
Who's watching this?
There's 5 people. I mean, I don't know. Whatever.
We're
pausing for station identification here on the Center Sports Network. All right, welcome back. As Dr. Hockey advertises.
Wawa thumb. Excellent. I hope that's appetizing.
Yes. Geez, you should be happy that we actually paused for station identification there, so that your mom couldn't come in and the rest of the world can see.
Allegedly, nothing actually happened. There's nothing to prove.
Yeah, it's not like she came in and held up your underwear for the entire planet to see, but that's fine.
Underwear.
So, Dr. Hockey, before we get into the transactions, which we were just in the middle of talking about, anything you want to say about last week's games? Because we're going to get to next week's games also, but right now, any commentary about last week's games or the transactions?
Well, I wasn't surprised by the outcomes for the most part of last week's games. I mean, those who drafted poorly lost, and those who didn't won. I mean, that's just kind of how it went down, right?
You hear that, Eugene? Write all of your comments to Odwin.
Care of Wawa.
Wawa for the free advertisement. Look, I mean, we've talked about this at length.
This is. I'm glad we're on video because the audio is going to just sound scintillating for this.
Look,
are we interrupting your dinner?
You are, but it's all good.
Would you rather comment on the games?
Look.
I mean, I can always have my Whopper with cheese right now. We can turn this into a cooking show.
Yeah, I mean, look, I got my Black Cherry. What is it? My Black Cherry Clear Americana Cola.
Clear Americana.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some well-stacked teams in this league, a.k.a. Tillette.
There we go.
AKA Zamunda, and you look at their lineups, and you're like, how did one team get 2 out of the top 5 players in their positions in the draft?
You're telling that to me. I'm playing them week 1 and 2. It's terrible.
Yeah, but you're one of them.
You got other teams who didn't stack any of them, right? We all were in the same draft. I mean, what happened there? I don't know what happened, but I think that the draft strategy for some, as mysterious as it was detrimental to their performance last week, and I think that's what happened.
I mean, like, could you give us an example of anyone, say maybe a team that has a crush on me, or, just, an example of a team that you might have criticized their thing, and make sure to give your Twitter hashtag to have the hate mail directed at
Look, there was a team that mysteriously decided to save all its money to the end of the draft.
What's that
team? I believe they're man.
We call them the football team.
So there was a team that decided to save all of their money until the end, just hypothetically.
Just hypothetically,
right? Hypothetically.
And hypothetically, they might have been called Dave's Secret Crush.
You don't know who that team is.
I have no idea who that team could have been. I have no clue. We're not saying at which team it might have been.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know either.
I don't know where you're going with this.
I don't either. This might be why you want to pay for the premium membership. But go ahead.
And you got to be thinking, with all the top players in each of the skill positions or the main skill positions gone, what were they waiting for? Right?
Yeah, I mean, what were they?
We're going to come on the podcast and coach us up.
Yeah, I mean, what more could they have possibly wanted on that team?
Read on, Ted. Does it ring a bell? Go down one player.
I don't know. I don't know which team we could possibly be talking about.
Does it ring any bells?
I mean, there were some teams in the league drafting Devontae Adams and Julio Jones on the same team. And there's this team with Will Fuller and AJ Green.
Which team? We don't know which team. I have no idea which team you're actually talking about or what place they're in.
But then somehow they expect to be competitive. I mean, this is the problem. And not only is this strategy, and I put that in air quotes, detrimental to the team itself, but in my view, it's detrimental to the league. Because you've got other people trying to maximize their dollars to the best of their ability in the draft to land some form of superstar or top-tier player in the skill positions in their roster. And then you got other guys who are just out there in the wind, picking out random players with random names, consequently allowing other teams to get a critical mass of highly skilled players in primary positions. And I think this team, I don't know who mans it. Oh, yes. But this is a classic example of what I'm talking about here.
No idea who you're talking about. Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean that would be ridiculous if a team did. But I'm not saying that. I mean, but I'm not criticizing any one team or anything else because I don't want the blowback of that. But if one were to.
I mean, look, blowback, no blowback. The damage is already done.
So moving on to the transactions, which we were in the middle of. So it seems so you got Paris Campbell for $27, outbidding me. Were you in any of these other? Were you in the Nyheim Hines stakes? I guess you weren't.
Absolutely not. No.
So your opinion on somebody spending $90 on Nyheim Hines?
Well, Hockey, where would you have gone with that offer? Where would you have landed had you spent?
Yeah, because
I would have spent tops $15.
So you would have been below.
Yeah, you would have been You would have been lower than the lowest offer. You're not going to be able to get a player like that for that.
This man went for almost triple digits.
To me, last year, Eckler was an excellent running back for me, and Hines is basically going to fit into that role with Phillip Rivers throwing to him.
So what fantasy outlet tells you that?
It's one at the end of a lower intestine, but go ahead.
Of the week because of the injury to Marlon Mack.
Yeah, but you don't think that Taylor's going to get that?
Oh, Eckler still had decent production after Gordon came back last year. So, I mean, I'm hopeful. I mean, I think he's a good running back to have. Running backs are few and far between. So, I needed to have him on my team. I probably shouldn't have spent $90. I probably should have gone with my gut offer of 50 or 55, but
I mean, you could have nabbed him and a Benny Snell almost for that rate.
You probably could have.
$90 costs more than Saquon this year.
It's the waiver wire, though. These dollars are different. They're not draft dollars.
Well, actually, but they have to last longer than the draft dollars do. The draft dollars have to last 2 hours.
Yeah, but there's no one on the waiver wire who's like that great that's going to.
I agree. There's nobody on the waiver wire that great. Go ahead.
That's the point, right?
So if you spend $90 or you spend $20, I feel like half teams don't even spend all their money in the waiver wire.
I mean, that is a valid point. I mean, if you look at last year's final dollar amounts, there were teams that barely spent anything.
Mm-hmm.
Did you lose a player prior to getting in this waiver wire bid?
I dropped Kendrick Bourne for Hines.
And he also dropped, but separately, which we were also discussing, but Mark Ingram.
So you didn't lose a player to injury?
No.
So you went in with the team that you drafted, changed your mind, dropped $90 in the waiver wire auction.
Well, I didn't even start Ingram, to be frank with you. I overpaid for him in the draft, and I admitted that on the last podcast. But I feel like Ingram has so many running backs he's competing with, plus Lamar gets half the touches. So. Like 2 points last week.
What do you think about the Snell? $51 for Snell.
I think it smells.
I mean, he could have gotten him for $6.
Can you smell what the Whalers is cooking?
I mean, here's the thing. I think the Whalers was more desperate for players. Although I mean, it's interesting that he bid $25 for Hines and $51 for Snell. So if you asked Whalers, clearly he values some Snell more than he does some Hines.
Well, look at the situation. Connor's out, right?
Yeah, and Connor was his player.
Connor's now gone, right? So who's going to be the quote-unquote bell cow in Pittsburgh?
The Snell cow?
Snell cow.
Right? So Whalers goes in and tries to get a solid guy who's going to get the the majority of the carries in replace of the guy he had before.
So you think that Benny is going to be his Snell cow?
I think that running game is going to go along at a Snell's pace.
I think the value proposition is a little bit more enticing than the Colts situation.
I mean, I don't know. Because look, I'm somebody who bid on Hines because I think, like I'm sure you did, which is why you picked him up, that Phillip Rivers clearly passes, dumps off to his running back, and that he was going to do that to Hines.
Look, there's no Snelling what this guy can do. Okay, but
That's the 27-point performance he had last week.
What about $14 for the football team's defense?
I mean, I think the thing about Whalers is like you could have had him for $6.
Yeah, but you don't know that. You don't know that. I mean, look.
Whalers, the other guy, he wasn't going to sniff him for 25.
He's not going to Snell him for 25.
Snell the other guy for $25.
Yeah, but you don't know that. You're just bidding wildly. And frankly, I am so curious as to what, like, so next week there's going to be some guy or some collection of guys that are clearly going to be touted on page 7 of the Fantasy Digest. And I'm just wondering what the bids are going to be based on this week's.
Annie and the Whalers have set the tone. Bring your checkbook if you want to free agent.
Yeah, but then you also just you get a Paris Campbell for 27, or you get. I mean, so there were more. I mean, this isn't just the.
View all.
Yeah, but so view all transactions. So that's not all the transactions that happened. Wow, there were a lot of transactions. Are we still going? Jeez, we gotta go to the other page. Wow. Okay, so here's you dropped Kendrick Bourne, Eric Ebron for Snell, Breida for Paris Campbell. Okay, so we could actually go that direction. Is that where we go? Okay, so we go down here. $14 for the defense. We already know that. Russell Gage went for 10, uncontested.
Could have gone for 0.
That's true too. But this is what you don't know. I wanted. Didn't somebody said to me that they
defense?
What?
Who paid money for the Washington football team defense?
I did $14.
See,
I didn't want the AutoZone to be burned down in Washington.
This waiver wire is full of comedy this week.
I know. Well, but that's the thing. And I think next week it's going to be even more schizophrenic because, like, what do you bid next? Like, let's say that there's a player that becomes available. What do you bid? I don't know. Do you bid $107 or do you bid $3? Either way, you might get him. It's like a complete crapshoot.
For crap.
Yes. I mean, O.J. Howard, $5. Okay. Jordan Akers for $5. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, $5. Now, there's a solid receiver who had a good game on a team. Now, I don't know how well he'll do. I mean, he's been up and down in the past and everything else, but decent. $5.
The Rams defense goes for $5, but the Washington football team goes for 14. Oh, this is comedy.
And the New Orleans defense, by the way, went for nothing. For 0. In fact, it went. Oh, look at the one. Was that part of the?
They're playing Vegas next week.
No, I mean, look, and they played well. I mean, New Orleans played well. I mean, I think they had the top score on the defense last week. So, I mean, I think that's a good pickup. Mm-hmm. Whalers came in with his Christmas present right there.
I would tell you that.
Whalers also picked up Hayden Hearst. Look at that. Whalers, I mean, see, this is what I'm saying about Whalers. Whalers, he's just I mean, he's living in the dumpster right now. I like just sniffing any kind of possible tempting garbage. Like this guy, Hayden Hearst. He was touted prior to the to the season because he could have been the replacement for Hooper. He had a poor performance, and frankly, Godert was he dropped Godert. I picked him up out of the trash can, and then Whalers goes right back into the trash can and picks up my guy that I dump off in the trash for his kicker, who then he turns around and picks back up after, I don't know what, Whalers, or no, that's you? I mean, what's going on here? I don't know. Whalers was sniffing around at 4 a.m, followed by Dr. Yeah, then Wakanda Time woke up 5 or whatever. What is that? About 13 minutes later to go pick up a kicker. Then Hackettstown woke up another 5 minutes later for their business. What did they do in their business? So you picked up Corey Davis for nothing?
Nothing.
I mean, look, he's worth nothing. Don't get me wrong. I've said this many times because I've had him before. But still, I would think that he would be somebody that would be worth at least, more than the Washington football team defense. But whatever.
Did you pick up Adrian Peterson again?
He did, of course.
We just have a love-hate, mostly hate.
He's a haggler. I mean, Adrian Peterson is a haggler.
He has more career haggler rushing yardage than anyone else if you rack up the yardage. And he'll be standing there with his helmet in his armpit next to the coach by the second quarter once again, while the punter is the starting running back. That's Adrian Peterson. What are you going to do?
Then I finally woke up at 8:08. By the way, these are Pacific times because I'm looking at this. So you're all waking up at 7 in the morning. So these are like 7 in the morning. So you guys are not as ridiculous as I'm making you out to be. So this is just my time. So 8 a.m. or 11 for you. Go pick myself up some Jamal Williams, some Keelan Cole, some Gronk. I know Gronk got repicked up by Zamunda. I mean, people were just hanging out in the trash can today, just waiting for garbage to be dumped so that they could.
So you were talking up Gronk last week, and you were expecting him to have that connection with Brady again, and you get the 2 firsts, but you dropped him.
Yeah, he got 3 points. We don't have tolerance for that.
All right, doing the Belichick mindset, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he looked awful. Like, there was nothing there. I picked up the Miller guy. Like, where is he? Picked up some Miller, go back to mine. So, yeah, I dropped the Tampa Bay tight end of Gronkowski, and I picked up Miller, the Tampa Bay wide receiver that he was going to, who could have been his Edelman. Until, like, as somebody said, the real Edelman actually just shows up in Tampa Bay because he's had enough.
Yeah, they got Godwin, Evans. I mean,
also I had too many tight ends. I mean, now I have one, Godert, but I like Godert. Godert.com says he's one of the best tight ends in the league.
Just ask Godert.com.
Yeah.
We have a big week this week.
I know. He has a big week. I don't know.
Sly is back on your team.
Who?
On the sly.
Oh, yeah, I had to pick him up on the sly, especially after tried to suck up to me by missing some field goals. No, thank you. Yeah, that's the ridiculous week 1 transaction. I don't even know. Like, and I honestly think next week's going to be more ridiculous. You're going to see like the top flight guy go for $2, and then the next guy is going to go for 186.
I don't get it though. Like, if your team sustained a bunch of injuries or some critical injuries, and now you're trying to scour the waiver wire to recoup the injury, that's one thing. But it's another thing to be like, my draft strategy was questionable, and now I'm going to work the waiver wire to improve my team. I mean, it's just I just don't understand it. I don't get it.
I do. You got to constantly work it just in case crap happens. I don't know.
Well, that being said, Odwin, you're making fun of me for the $90 transaction. I need $100 of real money.
Oh, was a good segue.
Good segue.
Excellent.
I'll send you your money.
All right.
He needs to pay for Hines.
Yeah.
Filling out some of
We
that.
have $10 left. So.
Yeah, you're costing Hines his salary.
I mean, you owe the league for paying $90 for Hines, to be honest. But
Well, he scored 27 points last week, so
Cash out.
Okay.
That's what Dr. Hockey uses.
let's see how he pans out.
All right. Speaking of which game would we like to go with first? Oh, the biggest blowout of the week. Look at that. Yeah, we all knew that. Tillatre beat, I don't know. Which team did he beat for the biggest blowout of the week? I can't read that. Can anybody read that? Which team Tillatre beat for the biggest blowout of the? I don't know. Whatever.
I think it says Dave's Secret Crush. I think that's what it says.
Does it? Who? But I can't see the coach. I can't read that. I can't read that.
I can read it. I think it says Eugene.
Send your comments. Care of Dr. Hockey. Okay, where do we want to start with these next week's games? Oh, yeah, here's the standings, by the way. Tillett in first. We knew that. Zamunda in second. What?
Look at the Hagglers all the way down at the bottom.
You know what's interesting here about this first week standing is that after the draft was over, you could already tell who was going to be first and second in the league.
No, well, Yahoo picked Nick and Jamie to be. They had the best draft.
Oh yeah,
according to Yahoo.
Yeah, that was another one. That was great draft strategy in there.
I gave you credit for what you said about them earlier, is that they're reading page 7 of Fantasy Digest. They're just not reading page 1.
Right.
All right. So then
the Luna Lions have top 5 running backs, and they're ranked second in the league. Oh, and Tillatre, 2 top 5 receivers, and they're ranked first. Gee, surprise.
I'm surprised by Cyberdyne being Cyberdyne injuries being third. Lightning rods, I don't know.
Geza has probably the top receiver and one of the top running backs, and he's last.
Well, my guy got rolled up on.
Yeah, but that was at the end of the game.
After his money belt was weighing him down. That's what happens when you pay people in this league.
Yeah, I mean, look, your philosophy is not necessarily untrue. I think next year maybe the draft strategy should just be who's in a contract year. All poor players that are looking to get paid. Mm-hmm. But you don't want them to be too unhappy with their contract because then they're going to hold out. It's a really fine line to walk there. All right, well, let's start out with the garbage barge versus Cyberdyne injuries. Big projection for Nick and Jamie, 136.73 to 126.18. All right, what do we see out of this game?
Let's see.
So Watson going versus Baltimore and Goff at Philadelphia. I mean, these were look, Goff was absolutely atrocious in terms of fantasy numbers. I think he got 10 points last week. And then you have Deshaun Watson, who got a lot of garbage time points against KC, and who's going up against a Baltimore team that's, frankly, similarly good. I think Watson gets more garbage time points to edge him out there.
Yeah, I agree.
For the receivers, Hopkins and Cooper. Hopkins versus the football team, the vaunted $14 football team. And Amari Cooper versus Atlanta, going against Tyreek Hill at the Chargers, and Michael Gallup versus Atlanta. I think I got to give the edge. So it's Cooper versus Gallup. I wonder who's going to have the bigger game out of the two receivers from the same team. If based on last week, it's going to be Cooper. So clearly the edge goes to Cyberdyne here.
And Tyreek Hill, he can go for 35 points or he can go for like 6. If they have so many weapons, and he gets the ball like twice a game, but it's like a crazy 80-yard touchdown.
And Hopkins is going against the $14 football team, so that's going to be tough for him.
Right.
We got 14 reasons he's not going to do anything.
Yeah,
this matchup is atrocious.
I know I know it is. I mean, the
4 running backs, you could just skip that whole section.
No, I mean, I'm looking at this a running back.
You could go right down to tight end or flex.
I mean, Rojoke and Sony Michel versus Kenyon Drake and Mixon. Oh my God!
You can go right to the tight end matchup, which is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
no, it's not.
No, Andrews is going to be better.
Very good.
Andrews will be better.
Mm-hmm.
Godwin will be better. I mean, did Ruggs recover?
Doesn't even say.
This is awful.
It's not even worth mentioning that he was injured.
By the way, it's Nick and Jamie who were favored in this game. Yeah,
they were favored last week too.
That's true. Anybody on the bench? I mean, Robert Woods is just sitting on the bench here for.
Yeah. Ooh, why don't they have Larry Fitzgerald go up against DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, so they can have the second guy against every one of their first guys on this side.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's quite clear that Cyberdyne wins this game.
Yes.
Well,
yeah, clear as day.
Is this garbage the Lost Boat second season?
Yeah, the Lost Boat. Sorry, Manny, what is it?
Slight edge in running back, but that's about it.
Nick and Jamie has a slight edge in running back.
Yeah.
Where's that edge?
Well, I think Drake. I mean, Michelle. I think Drake and Mixon beat out Rojoke and Michelle.
I mean, Mixon got 6.1 last week.
He might have a bounce back game.
Michelle had 9.7. Rojoke had 10. All right, so Drake beats Rojoke?
I think so.
But Scissors beats Paper, and clearly Cyberdyne. They're going to win.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, he can't, is he still? Is he? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think it's. Is anybody disagree? No.
The only way that Nick and Jamie win is if Watson and Hill have huge games. If they go for 30 plus each, which is very possible.
I mean, or if Gallup somehow is the guy who Dak passes to the time more than Cooper, or he gets more touchdowns or something like that. I mean, there's ways that this could happen. I mean, certainly they have to replace Ruggs. I mean, what did Ruggs even get before the injury? 9.6. I mean, that's actually not bad. I don't know.
No. This is atrocious.
Okay. Let's go to let's move up the chain right here. Gronky Kong versus the Mighty Whalers. Let's see. Has Whalers picked up enough out of the trash can to go beat
Can't
Gronky?
make a full lunch menu yet.
So is Kittle still? What's the status on Kittle? That's gonna. I don't care what the forecast is. I care about the status. He did not practice on Wednesday. Oh, yeah, this is the one with the dumpster fire. Shanahan actually said Kittle will not practice all week, but could still play week 2 against the Jets, though the Niners don't need him in order to beat that dumpster fire. Still, it would be tough for fantasy players to miss out on Kittle against the cakewalk Jets. Even if he does suit up, Kittle won't play his normal snap share and would be at less than 100%. Kittle sprained his knee in the opener. I mean, Connor's still in there. So, I mean, obviously he's going to place Connor. I mean, right now the projection is 52-48, and that's literally with no kicker. Connor, I mean, I guess Connor's 13 points projected, even though he's not going to be playing. Kittle, but Eckler didn't do anything. Saquon, kind of disappointing. I don't know what's going on the other side. So Thielen against Indianapolis. I think Thielen will have a huge game. And Allen versus Miami should have a good game. It's the same thing as last week.
I pick who we got here. Sadly, I'm going to pick the Gronky Kong.
Are you? I mean, like, all right. So you're also not factoring. There's two things that you're not factoring in. One, how many Shafto trades go through before Sunday, and two, you're not factoring in Snell.
I'm Bobby Snell. I'm not.
I mean,
they'll give you 51 reasons why they're going to win.
Yeah, or Ingram, or Hearst, or all the other people that were picked out of the dumpster, and are roundly being just packaged up in a Shafto trade deal to the next guy.
Junk bonds.
If you look at the lineup today, okay, because I don't know what it'll look like on Sunday, but if you look at it today, I'm gonna go with the Gronky Kong.
Are you? Because who on their team actually do you?
And not because of the personnel, because I think they have slightly better matchups. Josh Allen threw the ball like 46 times the other day, and now he's got Miami.
Yeah, and
Thielen can have a good game. Dallas defense didn't look so stout. I mean, they had Malcolm Brown running all over them. Nick Chubb gets a gift with Cincinnati.
Yeah, but Nick Chubb, I mean, they were giving it to Kareem Hunt. Nick Chubb had 5.6. I mean, it was Hunt that was getting the share of the carries.
I mean,
that's a
I
crap.
don't know, but like I said, I don't know what the Whalers lineup will look like on Sunday.
Well, clearly Snell is going to be in there. You don't pay $51 for the guy and sit him on the bench, unless you pay $91 for the guy and sit him on the bench, maybe. But I don't know if you pay $51 for the guy and sit him on the bench.
I mean, I don't believe any of these Giants players doing anything against Chicago. And that's a problem.
I also think New England has a good defense. So I'm not sure how good Lockett will be, and especially with which I'm hoping for Carson and Metcalf too.
The corners in New England get a lot of praise lately.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, like if Whalers were to lose and go 0-2, do you think he might actually start offering some value in his Shafto trades, or is he just gonna? It doesn't matter. Or is he gonna double down on total crap?
He'll go. 3-for-1 junk bombs.
I mean, because you get
a triple decker shit sandwich.
I expect Zamuna to get some offers. That's what I think.
PB&J, triple decker PB&J. Half eaten, by the way.
Yeah. So whoever gets dropped this week will certainly be packaged to another team.
Packaged up in a sweet deal. Hey, did you drop that guy? Let me rebundle him up.
I'm surprised he hasn't. At this point, I'm surprised he hasn't found some players that somebody else has dropped and repackaged them and trying to sell them back to the guy who just dropped them.
Back to the original team.
Like, dude,
something for Mark Ingram.
Hey, did you drop Mark Ingram? Well, look at this deal that I've got for you, buddy.
I think you made a mistake dropping Mark Ingram.
You dropped this sandwich in the dumpster? Well, have I got a deal for you?
I don't know. I think Whalers wins this. I don't think Chubb does anything. I think the top two for Gronky Kong come through, and then I just don't. I mean, but Eckler's going to suck too, and then Kittle out. I mean, I'll play Hearst, who's not. Maybe you're right. Maybe Gronky Kong does win this.
And the problem is I just have zero confidence in the Giants players, and I'm a Giants fan. I think Tyler Lockett has a problem. I mean, he's going to be riding on Roethlisberger and Bobby Snell, and I just don't know if that's enough.
Yeah.
I don't even have that much confidence in Eckler going against the defending champs.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a terrible match. I mean, he was already terrible last week.
Yeah, I mean,
without
it's not a good look. But like I said, I don't know what his lineup will look like Sunday. So as of today, I'm going with Gronky Kong.
So with an asterisk.
I agree. It's close, but Gronky Kong's slight edge.
Well, that would be the first win out of Hackettstown this season. All right. Where would we like to go next?
Keep going up.
Keep going up. All right. Zamunda versus the Lightning Rods. I don't even need to look at this. Zamunda is who I'm picking. But let's
wins. Next matchup.
We could actually.
Rod is projected to be right up there with him.
Yeah, these projections, because the projections are always right. So Beckham is not going to reach his projection of 14.92. Allen Robinson 17.12. I mean, he's playing the Giants, so maybe.
Didn't he just ask to be traded?
Well, so he wants to increase his trade value by playing well against the Giants. I don't know. Hilaire is good. Singletary is not. Herndon is not. Smith-Schuster, wasn't he injured or something? I don't know. What happened with him?
Questionable.
He did not practice.
The
Johnson. That's true. He is, and he's playing Denver. I mean, look. Yeah, and Wilson is playing New England. I mean, that's where a lot of his points came from.
And that's where a lot of his points will come again. And that's it.
Yeah, but I don't even think that against New England, do you think he's going to do that well?
Matchup.
I do. I think he will because he's Russell Wilson.
Oh,
He
yeah.
gets his
And
points every week.
he doesn't get them every week. He gets them.
What did Singletary get last week?
Singletary?
Right,
He got
like 10 or 11.
10, yeah.
Edwards-Helaire can have a decent game too against the Chargers.
Yeah.
But come on, look who's on the right side of the screen here. I mean, get out of here. This is over.
Yeah,
this is over before it started.
Yeah, Kyler Murray playing the football team, the $14 football team. For $14 football team.
Doesn't Julio have some kind of minor injury? He'll probably play.
Who?
Julio Jones.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, Kupp underperformed last week, but now he's playing Philadelphia, who was atrocious last week. Calvin Ridley. So that's what you're talking about with with Julio Jones.
Might get even more.
Yeah.
It's a good team.
I mean, Elliott versus Atlanta. He's going to go off. Kamara versus the Raiders. I mean, he's going to have a good game on Monday night. Jonnu Smith was good enough to win the game for him last night against Jacksonville. I mean, this D. Johnson guy is,
I think he's hurt. All right, this guy's hurt. Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, I mean, Nick doesn't really He's not feeling Robbie Anderson.
He can go to his bench and
Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, I mean,
at Tampa Bay, I think that's I think he should be playing Robbie Anderson at Tampa Bay. I mean,
look, he could put in Murray
against Jacksonville.
He could put in Murray in his flex and just run with Kamara and Murray. I mean, he's got tons of options.
I'd probably go with Anderson over Deontay for this week.
Sure,
a good team.
I mean,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Zamunda. As long as they don't fall for a Shafter trade by Sunday, is winning this game.
Yeah, it's over.
All right. No disagreements?
Yep, agreed.
Okay.
Elliott and the other guy will be Alvin Kamara will be replaced by Snell and Montgomery. Then I don't know about Zamunda winning this game.
Yes, that's true. Once this lineup has Snell and Montgomery back there, I don't know. We'll see. I might go the other way. Okay, moving on. Wow, you are getting a hell of a start to your season schedule. My God, the finest. going against the
Not
top
the
team.
finest schedule.
Yeah, not the finest schedule. Wow. I mean, it's your game. It's your funeral. What do you think is going to happen here?
I mean, it's tough, but I mean, I think Mahomes is going to go crazy against the Chargers. Can only hope for that. I need him to go for at least a 30-point performance. Metcalf against New England, it's tough. It's kind of like Lockett, but DK Metcalf has been really good lately. At the end of the season last year and the beginning of this year, so I'm pleased with him. Sanders now with Thomas hurt. I'm hoping he gets more of the touches. And that Vegas game last week was a shootout, so I'm not too confident in their defense. I think that's a good play there. Carson against New England. I mean, he's been good. Got to play my $90 guy. Tight end, I'm a little bit, always on the fence whether to put Henry or Cook. But since I have Sanders in there, it's a little bit too many Saints to, it's a little bit risky to go with two Saints. Mostert, I mean, it's against the Jets, so it's a no-brainer. Prater was good last week for me, and Buffalo against the Miami defense. So Edelman.
Yeah, he's not that good with Cam.
Yeah, wasn't that good. And James White, I mean.
Brown was good, but he's clearly nursing some kind of injury. Your team is not shit, I have to say. I mean, you're surprisingly not shit. I thought you were. You seem like shit on the surface, but underneath there's some substance.
And then Robinson, he's gotten a lot of touches. So I want to see how Robinson performs one more week. And if he continues to get those touches, I may have to consider starting him. So we'll see.
Yeah.
And I think the Mostert matchup is too good. But if that matchup wasn't great, I might put Robinson in there. And then we'll see how Scandling performs. I think I have a very deep bench, so it's a lot of it's difficult to decide who to play. Like last week, I made a mistake by not putting Brown in and putting Edelman in. But I mean, it's okay. I'd rather have a deep bench than not.
Yeah.
I think your entire week rides on Hines and mustard.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Hines
I think you need
mustard, yep.
some Hines and mustard.
Yeah.
And top it off with Mahomes and see what happens.
I mean, the problem is
this doesn't look good for you.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is you go to the other side of the ball. And, all right, okay. Drew Brees did not have a good game, though he is playing against the Raiders on Monday night. He might have a better game. But then you get into the meats. We have the meats.
We have the meats.
Devontae Adams going against.
Put up 40, but he'll get his.
He's playing Detroit. He's gonna have a good game. So now we get to see Julio Jones. I mean, so if he's actually injured, let's see what's going on. Hamstring was limited in practice. I mean, he should be fine for Week 2 showdown and potential shootout against the 0-1 Cowboys. Both the Falcons and Dallas are desperate for a win. So it looks like he'll be okay. David Johnson proved to be not terrible, though. I mean, how much
Baltimore has a good rush defense.
Yeah. Akers, so this is the other guy. So you picked up Malcolm Brown. What do you? Yeah. So you picked up Malcolm Brown, Dr. Hockey. Unmute yourself for a second. What do you think about the share with Akers? He only got 5.3.
That's what I think about the share.
Okay. Font was really good, on the Monday night game. He had 19 points. Crowder, I mean, is he going to have – I mean, Crowder was good. I mean, what's going on with his injury report? Questionable.
Their defense is not what it was.
Yeah, but Crowder's not going to run that back against San Francisco.
Yeah, also hamstring was limited in practice, so maybe he wants to start – who does he have on the bench? Or maybe – I don't know. So he's not as deep on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a potential problem for Tillett. I mean, look, obviously his receivers blow yours out of the water. Yeah. I mean, your running back, I think that you have an edge in running back, mostly because of Akers.
David Johnson's tough matchup.
Yeah. No, I'm giving you the edge in running back, and I'm giving you the edge in quarterback, obviously. Crowder versus Mostert. That's going to be, or whoever he plugs in there, I think is going to be really determinative there. I think it's actually a close game. I
take it back. You got to hit your wagon on Mahomes. I don't have confidence in anybody else. Good luck. It's Mahomes versus Tillatre.
Yeah, I need a big game out of him, kind of like last week. But
I think
granted, he's playing the Chargers, so why not? There is a team he could have a big game with.
Right.
I mean, their defense is not atrocious.
I think this New England matchups for you are a problem.
Get with Seattle. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's two of them. I mean, Hines versus Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota was giving up a lot of points to running backs on, when it was Green Bay. So maybe Hines actually pays off. I mean, I'm going to give you – and I also think that you're going to have 1 week of gloating on Hines. I just think that karma is going to give you a week of gloating, and then every other week after that, we're going to be able to talk shit back to you. But I think that you're going to have a good week with Hines.
Yeah, I'm thinking about putting John Brown in instead of Metcalf. So I don't know. It's Miami. Yeah, but he's kind of nursing an injury.
I think this will actually be a close. I think this is going to be very much a game like what you played with Nick last week.
Yeah, it's not really fun going through those, but
right. But I mean, like if after, I mean, if you go through weeks 1 and 2. Having played teams 1 and 2, if you could at least take a split out of that, you're looking not bad. Especially since you're playing both of these teams twice. So that's 4 really tough games for you this season. But at least I don't have to hear, about your undefeated season up until, you lost everything after that one loss. Yeah. But okay. If I have to pick a team, I'm slight. I'm going to give a slight edge to Tillett, but I would not be surprised if you won this game.
Okay.
I'm picking Tillett. Too much star power.
I'm going with the Pakistan Finest for the upset.
All right.
I don't think it's that much of an upset, but yeah, sure. All right. And I'm assuming you definitely are not one of those teams who doesn't pick yourself. You pick yourself.
Yeah, I pick myself.
I know. Okay. All right, moving on. The Hagglers versus this is going to be. I'm looking forward to this game just for the crap that's going to be talked on the group message on Sunday and in the comment section of this video. And everywhere else that he could possibly talk about it. So, he's a 74% favorite. The Crush.
Kind of outrageous.
I mean, Geese, it's your game. Go for it. Analyze your team.
Well, the Hagglers, as you know, play defensive football, so they are a very low-scoring team.
Here we go.
We got Dak Prescott going up against the garbage barge that is the Atlanta Falcons, so he's going to put up some points. But I think Garoppolo against another trash heap will cancel that out. Fuller, is this where he gets injured? What's his banana peel week? Is this where he tweaks the hammy?
We do know that the Hagglers love to dish out the banana peels.
Right, there's plenty of banana peels in Hagglers. Bushels of them, actually. Watkins actually got a lot of targets. As you can see, that was our bench blunder in week 1. Quickly put back, corrected in week 2. Davis, you're not big on. I know, Harback, and you played around with this guy way too much. He's a humongous disappointment for you, but he is in a contract year, which is why I scooped him up. And he's already injured, so he might not even be there. Needless to say, Randall Cobb is out of here. He was dropped in the wee hours of the morning.
He's your
Second drop to be made.
On Monday. He didn't even wait till the.
He didn't even make it to the following day.
No.
Against AJ Green, against Bengals and Cleveland. I mean, this is looking like a turd matchup right here.
I mean, what did AJ? I mean, he got 10.
You know, I picked the Hagglers here.
I don't. That's very kind of you, Herbert.
I mean, you're pretty let him get through this. All right.
Let's keep going because Yahoo does not. Heaping 31-point underdog. So Dalvin Cook versus Jacobs. I mean, Jacobs was the guy he did spend the most money on. That's a pretty. Cook can hold his own mostly against anybody. And he had his team had a horrid game last week, and he still finished with 21. Imagine if they actually gave him the ball. Gordon actually put up some points. I don't know what Philly did. You watched the Philly game. What did Sanders even do? Like, what was he even? I didn't a peep out of him.
I don't think Sanders was injured. He literally couldn't play. I don't know what's the status of his injury. He practiced in full on Wednesday, so I guess maybe he'll be back. I can tell you that Boston Scott sucked, though it's a different role for him. I mean, so Sanders is the lead back, whereas what do you call it? Scott and Clement all split it. So I don't know.
Well, Gordon has a tough matchup at Pittsburgh. They have a decent run defense, and the Giants couldn't do anything.
Is Lindsey injured? I mean, what's the status of Lindsey?
With Lindsey up, that's right. I forgot. Lindsey.
Yeah, Lindsey's got the turf toe.
That could be very interesting right there. So
yeah, I think his running back pair pans out better.
I mean, look, I think Jacobs is going to do well. But I do think that
I think Cook can have a good game against the Colts. Gordon can do decent against Pitt.
Everybody knows that Arizona is horrid against tight ends, but we're going up probably against the number one tight end in the league right now, in Travis Kelce.
Garoppolo's going against the Jets.
Yeah, you got to give him the edge right there. Adrian Peterson, who's found his way onto our team again, will be holding his helmet by the second quarter. He might not be in there. He might not make the starting lineup. You might see Snell in there for Michael Thomas. And then you've got McLaurin. They're both on this. Yeah, no, that's there. And then the kickers, who cares? And then my $14 defense, of course, is going to be the key to this game.
Yeah, I mean, they're not getting that much of a projection. They're getting under.
Oh, that's not a lot for my
money. They're going against the $5 defense.
Yeah, he's got the $5 defense right there.
Oh, man. Okay. And then on the bench,
Eugene, you have to play. Or sorry, I whoever the coach is of this team needs to play this guy just so he's more than sad, just so he could really rub in the wounds.
Yes.
You're not playing the jumbo package this week?
No, I guess we do.
Ingram's
got a ton of tight ends.
I know, and Ingram made the cut. That's impressive.
Ingram is. I'm sorry. He probably after this podcast, he will probably be available, unless I want to package him up in a junk bond deal with Adrian Peterson. Anybody's interested?
Going to be playing Adrian Peterson when he's like 45 years old.
I got to go with Augman, actually. Despite the ridiculous Yahoo lopsided projection, I picked my team.
It's going to be closer than that. It's not. I mean, besides Kelsey and Jacobs, I don't see much on Eugene's team that's going to be that good.
I mean, why is he getting a 135 projection?
I have no idea. I don't see him scoring 135.
Yeah, frankly, I mean, like, I'm looking at this, and I know that the Hagglers were awful last week, but I think that Yahoo is under projecting them, and I think that they're over projecting the Crush.
I don't see Will Fuller having a big game against Baltimore.
Me neither.
I don't see Miles Sanders having much against the Rams. Nah, man, I don't see 135 being dropped here. I don't see it, man.
Yeah.
Well, last week they said Nick and Jamie were going to get 141. They finished with 100 flat.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
1 point under projection. So you think this is going to be another one of those scenarios where Eugene gets low 100s?
I mean,
is he going to get 100 points?
Are you projecting under 100?
I mean, the question is, what do I want in my email and my inbox tomorrow? Like, I mean, because I mean, if we all pick against him, I mean,
well, I'm going up against him, so I naturally am going to pick myself. That's not a surprise.
I mean, last week.
The rest of you.
I'm picking against him. I don't care. Nice guy and all, but I don't see it this week. I don't see it.
The Niners receiving core is so decimated.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, they're playing the Jets, but I mean, still Garoppolo is to me, it's not a great play at quarterback.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as quarterbacks go, they're either going to get their points running or they're going to get their points by throwing touchdowns. So you think that he's going to hand it off on the goal line, or you think he's just going to pass it off to somebody? I don't know who, because like Kittle's injured. Everybody's injured over there, but I think he'll find like a third stringer to, string together.
He can pull a security guard. It doesn't matter. It's the Jets.
Exactly. I know. Yeah. So I think that Prescott and Garoppolo are about even this week. Yeah, I mean, I don't think AJ Green is that impressive. I think this is going to actually be a very close game, but I do think.
Do you think both teams will be sub 100?
No, I think both teams. I think you guys meet in the middle at around 110, 112, maybe 115.
Huh.
I think it's going to be like a 115 to 110 game.
So we'll be over projection and Eugene will go under.
Yes.
That's what you're predicting.
That's what I'm predicting. Which, why not? I mean, he's gonna write us the hate mail anyway, so I'm going to pick the Hagglers. Although the Hagglers do terrible. I mean, usually they don't win until at least week 5. I mean, I can't imagine a Haggler win this early in the season. That's like week 2? Is that a record? Would that be a record?
Why couldn't I have this easy schedule? I mean, this is totally unfair.
I don't know, Kamish.
You're calling Harbacken easy. I pay Harbacken in week 1. I have this Harbacken.
Damn easy. Did you not notice? I would take that as insulting, but I mean, did you not see what happened? All right, so we're all picking the Hagglers.
All right, yeah, slightly.
Yep.
I think I just got some notifications in my inbox. Damn it. I'm going to have to answer those later. All right. Moving on to the last game of the week.
Here's the game of the week here.
So 50-50, exactly even projection. Though technically my projection is 129.14 to 128.90, and we know these mean nothing. The two 1-0 teams, 4th place versus 5th place, fifth place versus 6th place. So the two shittiest winners from last week playing against one another. By the way, last week's games for us, our scores last week. Let me just look at that quickly because they were close last week as well. So last week, the 1603 scored 108.96, and the Wakanda Panthers scored 113. So what is that? 5-point difference, 5-ish point difference, less than 5. 4.4. So very evenly matched teams here. All right. I don't know, Dr. Hockey. I'll give you the honors.
I mean, look. I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty even matchup at the RB1. I technically would give you the edge on the RB2, except for the fact that Brown is playing Philadelphia. I'll give you the edge on the tight end, although you are playing the Rams defense, right? Once again, I have the benefit of Philly.
I am Philly in that one, so we're playing each other in that game.
I know, and it's just the Philly defense is questionable. I mean, they lost in a rally by the Washington football team.
Oh, I understand they're terrible, but I just want to go back to the discussion about. So my RB1 only slightly edges out your RB1.
Yes, because my guy is playing Jacksonville. And I don't
my guy's
think you're
playing
gonna have
Tampa
2 weeks
Bay.
in a row.
Tampa Bay plays McCaffrey tough, but you know that from last year.
I do know that. I'll give you the edge. Fine. Well, they did last year. I don't. Okay.
He just gets so many carries. Like he's like.
My guy had 31 carries this past week.
He's such a workhorse, and if he would be slightly more involved in the passing game, I think he would be the top running back in the league.
Look, if he scored a touchdown last week,
right,
and he'll score one this week. Henry?
Henry. Say again?
I said Henry is going to score a touchdown this week.
Yeah.
Against Jacksonville? Yeah.
To me, this game is a no-brainer. I think it's Wakanda all the way. Lamar is just a fantasy animal. I mean, he proved it last week. I thought he would have a sophomore slump, and he went crazy again. Diggs against Miami is a good matchup. I love Henry against Jacksonville.
The other thing is, we just saw Mahomes carve up Houston.
Right.
I think
it's
have every reason to believe Lamar can do the same thing.
Yeah. Tight ends that's a snooze fest. I don't know if Goddard is going to keep that same production.
Goddard.com, he's going to do just fine.
I know.
And it's not that I don't believe in the quality of his tight end. I just think he's playing a better defense.
Okay.
Yeah, Malcolm Brown was also good last week.
Paris Campbell.
What are we looking at here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All 9 players going at 1 o'clock?
Yes.
Woo, are back and rolling it out.
I actually don't even think I have an option, though, by the way. If you look at my bench, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Oh, I could play this guy at 125.
Play R. Kelly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he got 12 points last week.
Holy moly.
Yeah, so
that is going to be done before the afternoon sun sets.
yeah, I know. My what do you call it? My NFL package will pay off handsomely during that. That's nice. I'll just be able to. I mean, for me, if you could see, it's a 10 a.m. game for me. These are all my time. So
1 o'clock kickoffs for Harback. His whole squad goes at 1.
Yeah, so by 1 o'clock Pacific, I could just move on with my day.
Better be beating the crap out of Dr. Hockey by 4 o'clock and you're done.
Yeah, by 4 o'clock, I'm done.
Yeah, this is gonna be a quick game. I love this new little feature. Challenge Wakanda Panthers for a cash prize. I'm not challenging you to shit right now because I don't. Geez, you should be challenging, or Eugene should be pressing his little button there to challenge him for some from Scarroll. Yeah, I think the Campbell pickup was good. This is what I think. I think Malcolm Brown is not going to do as well as you think. But other than that, I think you're gonna beat me. I think I still have problems at wide receiver. There's just nothing I could do there. I do think that McCaffrey is going to do fine. I think that Jones will do fine. I think my running backs are going to outperform your running backs. I think that Goddard's going to outperform Higbee, but not by the
week 1.
What?
What did Higbee get last week?
He got 7.
7 on.
So, but then after that, I don't think that Brady's clicking enough yet. I think that look, I'm stuck with Chark in the Tennessee game. And I think that Tennessee just runs too much, and there's just not enough going on there. I don't even know if he's going to play, frankly.
But when they keep running the ball, they also milk the clock.
Yeah, which is what I'm saying. So I'm saying there's not going to be that many opportunities for him which is going to hurt him there. I think that Marvin Jones Jr. was terrible last week. I think that he's one of those players that needs to be the number 2 guy, not the number 1 guy. And unfortunately, the number 1 guy is Galladay, who's on your team, who I would be playing against, which would also not bode well. I mean, obviously Lamar is going to have a better game than TB12.
Hockey yanked D-Jack out of there in a hurry.
So why no AJ Brown? AJ Brown. Over
he's got a hamstring injury right now. I mean, he only got 8.9 points anyway.
When are we gonna see the crazy man Leonard Fournette make his appearance?
I mean, not for another few weeks. Yeah, he's a bench stash. He's not ready for prime time. I'm also not ready to roll with the entire Tampa Bay team. I mean, you really want to talk about? I mean, I'll just have to have one. I don't even need to have the package. I could just do it all in one game. Just have Tom Brady versus McCaffrey, and then Fournette, and then throw in Miller. And just, I mean, how many do I need? I'm not necessarily convinced about the Gage guy. I don't know. I need to gauge his performance. I mean, Cole took some away also there, but I'm certainly not playing 2 in the Tennessee game because, like you said, exactly, like there's not going to be enough time. I might go with the Miller because he could be an Edelman. Not going with Kelly against Kansas City. I mean, I think you got me. I mean, you clearly have an edge in wide receiver. You clearly have an edge in quarterback. I think I have a slight edge in wide receiver and tight end, but I just don't think it's enough. I think that your flex is stronger. I think, I mean, the kickers are about the same. Our defenses, I mean, look, Chicago, if Chicago plays like they did last year where they were getting like 27 points, which they're playing the Giants this week, so I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility, then maybe we could eke out a win. But I have to think that Wakanda's favored here. And I'm not just saying that because I never pick myself. I'm saying that because I actually think that Wakanda should be favored here.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Keys.
Ooh, this is, I mean, McCaffrey versus Henry. I mean, you got excellent matchups at running back here. McCaffrey versus Henry. That's going to be good.
Boring Aaron Jones
versus boring Malcolm Brown.
Higbee, the tight end matchup. I mean, according to GoDirt.com, he's going to do well. I'm not sure about Higbee. Yeah, Higbee's all right. Taylor's a great pickup versus Gage, the unknown. I like Hockey's at least 2 out of his 3 running. Diggs is going to be solid getting target. I mean, Lamar, Harbakin playing his ex. I think that the curse of Lamar comes back to bite Harbakin here. His ex guy comes back to bite him. I'm going to go with Wakanda.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you have to.
I like Diggs, too, against Miami. I think he might have a big game.
Yeah.
Although the Giants are snoozers, so the Bears' defense might tip the scales here.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of hoping for. I'm kind of hoping that his team.
I don't know. GoDirt.com, right? What has he written in his column this week?
I read a column about him. He's going to be better than Higbee, is what he said in his column this week.
Oh, no, I said it. I think the curse of Lamar comes back to haunt her back.
I think so too. I mean, because this is really the contest of which one should I have kept? Which one should I have spent the money on?
And McCaffrey has the tough Tampa Bay matchup. They always play him tough. I'm going high.
Yeah, they played him last year in the second week also, by the way. I mean, I think you have to go with Wakanda here. I mean, the other thing you have to factor in is how many Wakanda players are going to slip on banana peels because, it's Wakanda. They do get injured a lot. He had 2 injuries before the season even started. We don't know what kind of injuries are going to happen between now and then. I hear there might be a COVID outbreak in Wakanda that's happening. I don't know. You have to take these things into account. Make sure that
players on the team bring COVID with them.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, I need to – because just playing – I mean, talking to Wakanda right now is – I'm kind of –
Why do you think I'm wearing the mask?
I know. You're talking to Wakanda. I mean, this is just,
Assuming that Wakanda stays healthy.
Which is a very dangerous assumption.
So make sure you pay $100 before all your players get hurt.
I think what might hurt hockey? Well, not hurt him, but I mean, Indianapolis is what Phillip Rivers just checked down.
Campbell. I mean, look, he got 9 targets, 6 receptions for 71 yards last week.
Okay.
He got 14 points without a touchdown.
Okay.
I mean, he's
Well, I'm hoping all those balls go to my $90 man.
I'm sure he will. They will.
This is why Odwin is so against the $90 transaction, because he's got a Colts receiver and a Colts running back. I mean,
I don't think his team factors into how much he judges other people.
well, that's how I think. So,
well, because you're an egomaniac. All right. Anything else that we want to comment on this week before we wrap this baby up?
No, should be a good week.
Yep, should be a very good week.
Yep. All right. So then, for everybody else, I'll let you say your goodbyes.
All right. Peace out.
All right. For everybody else, have a great week. Until next week. Good luck for this week. Bye.
Carry on.